Hello dear students, how are you all? I hope you all are healthy and doing well. So students, I'm your mathematics educator and from today onwards I will be taking your mathematics classes. And today we have chapter number 1 which is integers. So introduction. So first of all we have to take an introduction before starting this chapter. But before starting this chapter I have to ask a question to you that what does mean by integers. Integers are the numbers, simply the natural numbers, whole numbers, even numbers. The little bit difference in integers is that we have to use a sign of negative. So when you have a sign of negative and positive in your numbers, so you have to understand this is your integers. In this previous class, you have learned that the numbers -4, -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 are called integers. Okay, you also study representation of integers on number line, absolute value of an integer, addition or subtraction integers, etc. In this chapter you will study about properties of addition, subtraction of integers, multiplication and division of integers and their properties. But before that we quickly recapitulate what you have learned so far. So first of all we have to deal with directed numbers. The numbers 1, 2, 3, 4 are called positive integers and the numbers -1, -2 neither are called negative numbers. 0 is neither positive or neither negative. Representation of integers on number line. On number line, positive integers are represented to right of 0 and negative numbers are represented to left of 0. The opposite integer 1 is -1, 2 is -2, 4 -3, -3, etc. located at the same distance from the 0 but no opposite sides as shown below. So in your number line, in the middle you have your 0. On right hand side you always mention what? Always your right hand side mention negative integers and left hand side representing negative integers. Each number have their opposite value. For example, 1 have -1, 2 have -2, similarly at the equal distance. Now ordering of integers. Integers follow the same rules as whole numbers on number line. As far as ordering is concerned, an integer is greater than every integer occurring on its left on the number line. This implies that every positive integer is greater than every negative number. So when we have to compare the numbers, so if I have a -3 and 3, so it means 3 is always greater than as compared to -3. 0 is less than every positive integers and greater than every negative integer. So if you have -3 or 0, so 0 is greater than -3. Okay, so it means 0 is always smaller than positive numbers and greater than negative numbers. If A and B are two integers such that A is smaller than B and -A is greater than -B, for example 4 and 10. So 10 is greater as compare when we compare it in a positive sign with 4. But if we have -4 and -10, then your -4 is greater. In negative, which we already understood in our earlier classes, that in negative numbers, in integers, negative values as they increases, they become the smaller value and smaller value become the larger or greater value. For example, you have -2 and -1. So which one is greater? So first what you have to observe that the numbers have minus sign. So we have to follow the opposite rule of comparison, that -1 is greater than -2. So I hope so students, you already remember this concept which we learned in our earlier classes, and right now you also understand what I mean to say. Now absolute value of an integer. Absolute value of integer means when we don't use any kind of sign with the numbers. So the absolute value of integer is the numerical value of that integer regardless of its sign. For -2 we have absolute value of 2. Okay, for -7 we have absolute value of 7. For 0 the absolute value is 0. So absolute value of an integer is never negative. A negative and its opposite have the same absolute value. Addition of integers with the same sign. So we simply add it like we do in our whole numbers. To add two integers having the same sign, their absolute values are added and the common sign of the integers are prefixed with the sum. For example, 12 plus 9 is 21 and we have plus sign, so we have to write. And we generally don't put a plus sign, we have to mention the minus sign always. Okay, so now we have -7 and -10, and we already understood if we have same sign, it means minus minus, we have to add them together. So -7 and -10 is your 17 and you have to add your minus sign. Now minus 15 and minus 3, again we have to add them together and we will to put the minus sign. Now we have addition of integers with opposite signs. For example, we have minus 6 and 4. So first minus plus. If we have opposite sign, so we have to minus. 6 minus 4 is 2. Next, which sign we have to use? To add a positive and negative integer, take the difference of their absolute values and prefix the sign of addition having greater absolute value. So now greater absolute value. For example, you have question minus 6 and plus 4. So what you say? That ma'am, 4 is the greater value I have in this question because it is positive. Yes, you are right. But while we apply our operation over our integers, so what we have to keep in our mind, we have to use the absolute value, or according to absolute value 6 is greater than as compared to 4. So you have to use the minus sign with your sum. Okay, your answer you can also say. Now minus 11 and plus 15. So 15 minus plus minus, your answer is 4, and 15 is greater absolute value, so you have to put the plus sign here. Now subtraction of integers, so same process you have to repeat here as you do in your addition. In order to subtract an integer b from a, opposite of b is minus b added to a. So a minus b is a plus minus b, which will be converted further a plus b. Okay, so now 5 minus 7 is 5 plus minus 7. So minus 7 and minus 5. So what you have to do here? You have to minus 2. Your answer is now minus 8 and minus 10. So minus minus is plus. So you have to add them together and put your sign minus 18. So according to your previous knowledge, now we are going to solve our exercise 1.1. So arrange the following integers in ascending order. So first of all, you have to arrange in ascending order. Which one is smaller? Minus 17 is smaller. Then we have minus 13, minus 10, minus 3, after this 1, and then 4. In this way, you have to represent your question number 1 part B. Now same you have to do in question number 2, where we have to arrange your numbers in descending order. Find the value of. So now we have to find the value of minus 35. This is the sign of absolute value. So opposite of minus 35 is 35 without any sign. 22, 22. So in that way you have to write your answer for part C and D. Now evaluate minus plus. We have opposite sign. So minus plus is minus. 13 minus 5 is 8. And according to absolute value, which one is greater? 13. So we have to use plus sign here. Next we have minus 41 and minus 30. So plus minus minus is plus. So we have to add them together and we will get our answer 71, or put a sign of minus. So next question we have J. So we have 54 and minus minus is plus 7. So we have to add them together, which is will become your 63, and we have to use the plus sign only for this. So in same way you have to solve rest of the parts you have in question number 4. Now we are going to deal with the properties of addition of integers. So first we have closure property. These are the properties which we already learnt in our earlier classes, and we also do in whole numbers. So the same properties we have to apply here. For example, the closure property, if we deal with two integers, so we always get an integer as a answer. As sum of two integers is an integers are closed under addition. In the other words, if a and b are two integers, then a plus b is also an integer. Now we have commutative property. So in commutative property, 5 plus minus 3 is equal to minus 3. 5 plus 5 is equal to 2. It means if you change the order of your numbers, your answer will remain same. So it means the commutative property applied here. If commutative property applied here, so that is self understood that associative property is also applied here. That if you have three numbers and you group two numbers in a different way, then you will get the same answer. Okay, next we have additive identity. In additive identity, it means you have to add a number with 0. So for example, if you add an integer with 0, you will get the same answer. It means additive property applies here. Now additive inverse property, in which if we add the opposite of that number, the negative sign with it, so we will get the answer 0. So for every integer there exists its opposite such that their sum is 0. Opposites are called additive inverse of each other. This one property where integers differ from whole numbers. Thus, for every integer a, there exists an integer minus a such that a plus minus a is always equal to 0. Now we are going to deal with the properties of subtraction of integers. So closure property, if we have to do subtraction with two integers, we will get our answer in an integer only. So closure properties apply here. Next, commutative property, associative properties are not applied in the subtraction. 0 subtracted from any integers gives 0. If a is an integer, then a minus 0 is a. So this is the property we have, and then subtraction of integer is not commutative. If we change the order of the numbers, we will not get the same answer. Now evaluate minus 36 plus minus 57 and minus 14. So here we have a question, minus 57, minus 36 and minus 14. Minus 57 plus minus, and when we solve it, minus 36, we group them na, minus 36 and minus 14. So we have minus 50, minus minus is plus. So our answer is minus 107. Now we have our exercise 1.2, fill in the blanks. 14 minus 5 is equal to minus 5 plus 14. Minus 17 minus 18 is equal to plus 9. So in same way, by following your properties, you have to fill these blanks. After this, find the value of. So for example, we have minus 25 and plus 25. So minus and plus are cancel out each other and you will get your answer minus 49. Next you have minus 50 plus 9 minus. So in that way, what you have to do first, add them, your minus 71 and minus 29, 80 and 100, minus 100 and minus 50 is minus 150, plus 9 is equal to minus 141 is your final answer. So in same way, you have to solve the rest of the parts we have in question number 2. Now question number 3, evaluate. So minus 4 plus 4 cancel out, minus 4 plus 4 cancel out. So 15 terms. 15 terms means okay, you have to do this with 15 times. So you will, what you get at the end. So at the end of the moment, you will get minus 4 as in your answer. Now write additive inverse of each of the following integers. So additive inverse of minus 8 is plus 8 and you will get 0. Minus 13. So you have to write in such a way. Now we are going to deal with multiplication of integers. So for example, 2 multiplied by 7 means 7 plus 7, and 3 multiplied by 2, we have to add 2 3 times. So we can also say that multiplication means repeated addition, right? Now similarly, we have to deal with the multiplication in our integers as well as we do in whole numbers. 4 multiplied by minus 5 is equal to minus 5, minus 5, minus 5, minus 5, and you will get your answer minus 20. 3 multiplied by minus 6, it means minus 18. Now consider the product of minus 2 and minus 4 is minus 8. So 4 multiplied by 4, 3 multiplied by 4, the same process we have. Similarly, minus 2 multiplied by 4 is minus 8. In a similar manner, you can observe that minus 4 multiplied by 5 is equal to 4 multiplied by minus 5. It means, so thus the product of two known negative integers is equal to the product of their absolute values. For example, in this, what we understand here, if I have a number minus 5 or I have to multiply it with 5, so I get minus 20. But for example, I have minus 4 multiplied by minus 5, it means minus minus are cancel out with each other and you will get your answer, which is 50. So in similar manner, you can see that minus 5 and minus 7 multiplied by is 35. Okay. So while you do multiplication with your integers, so you have to keep this property in your mind. Now find the following products. 9 multiplied by 8 is minus 72. 13 multiplied by minus 5 is minus 65. Minus 6 multiplied by minus 16 is 114. Now find a pair of integers whose product is minus 5. So if I multiply minus 5 with or you can say that with 1, so you will get your answer, which is minus 5. 23, so 1 multiplied by 23 is 23. Now properties, minus 1 multiplied by minus 23 is 23. Now we have properties of multiplication. In this, closure property is applied here, that if we multiply two integers, so as an answer we get the answer is an integer. The product of two numbers is always an integers. Now commutative property, if we change the order of the numbers, so we have the same answer. Always keep in your mind that those properties applied on your addition, right? These are the same properties we have to applied on the our multiplication. Next we have associative property. If we have to make grouping, so if we make different groups, so end of the moment we will get the same answer. Now existence of multiplicative identity. Recall that 1 is the multiplicative identity for whole numbers. Now consider the product. So 1 is the multiplicative identity for integers as well. Thus if a is an integer, then 1 multiplied by a is always a. So 1 multiplied by minus 3 is minus 3. Minus 7 multiplied by 1 is minus 7. Now multiplication by minus 1. For any integers a multiplied by minus 1 is equal to minus a. So 4 multiplied by minus 1 is minus 4, minus 13, minus. So minus minus positive, you will get your answer 13. Now multiplication by 0, the same process which we do in our whole numbers, that whenever we multiply a number with 0, so we will get a 0 only. Now we have distributive property. In distributive property, it means if you have a number inside your bracket, so first you add them and then multiply it, so same answer you will get, or you multiply with your outer number with each inner number, then you also get your same answer. So multiplication of integers is distributive over addition, and here is your example. So what we understand, that if a and b and c are three integers, then a is b plus c multiplied by same and a multiplied by b, and then if we add them with a multiply c, so we will get the same answer. As multiplication of integers is commutative, you can also say that the above factors, that b plus c and multiplied by a and b multiplied by a plus c multiplied by a is changed. Same, if we change the order of the numbers, then we also get the same answer, because multiplication applies the commutative property. Now some observation about multiplication of integers. Since the multiplication of integers is commutative as well as associative, so product of three or more integers can be obtained by suitable rearrangement of integers. The product of two integers with unlike signs is negative and with same signs is positive. So if you have plus minus, so you always guess minus, but you have plus plus, minus minus, same sign, so you will always get the plus sign, the positive sign. If a product contains an odd number of a negative integer, then it's non-positive, either 0 or negative. For example, if you have such numbers 3 times minus 2 you have, okay. For example, minus 2 multiplied by 7 multiplied by 5 multiplied by minus 3 multiplied by minus 1. So what we see, it is an odd number, and at the moment you have minus sign. And for example, in the next what you see, you have a 0, so it means at of the moment any number you multiply with 0, you will get end of the moment 0 only, right? Now if a product contains an even number of negative integers, then it's a non-negative, either 0 or positive. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So minus is cancel out with each other and you will get 280. In this case, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 is an odd number. So end of the moment, you will get a negative or odd digit answer. Now in this section, if we multiply it with even numbers with 0 as well, so we will get end of the moment 0 only. Now we have some examples. Find the products of minus 4 multiplied by 7 multiplied by 9 is equal to 252. 4 minus and minus both are cancel out with each other, so you will get 252. Now minus minus is cancel out with each other, but this minus is still here. So 6 multiplied by 5, 30. 30 multiplied by 12 is minus 360. So you always have to keep in your mind how you have to deal with your signs, because in integers, sign plays a very important role. Okay, students. Now evaluate 734 multiplied by minus 8. So your answer in minus, because here we have odd time minus. So your answer is 734 multiplied by 2 minus 100. So you will get 734 multiplied by 2 is 1468, and this is 73,400, and end of the moment you will get your answer minus 71,932. Next question we have, Manisha's father sends her 3,000 every month. Manisha's monthly expenditure is 2,650. How much money is saved by Manisha's in 4 months? So you have to subtract. So consider getting money as positive and spending money as negative. Money saved by Manisha in 4 months, so 3,000 multiply by 4, okay, and minus 2650 multiply by 4. Or you can also say that the sum, the product of it, the sum of it 3000 minus 2650, which is 350, multiply it with 4 and you will get your answer 1400 by using distributive property. Next we have our exercise 1.3, filling the blanks with appropriate integers. So how can I get minus 8 here if I multiply it with 1? Minus 15 multiplied by 0 is 0. Minus 35 multiplied by minus 1 is 35. In same way you have to fill these blanks. Now for each of the following statements, state true or false. The product of 3 negative integers is positive. False. The product of 2 integers with same sign is positive. Yes. So in same way you have to classify these statements among true and false. Now find the product of 1 multiplied by minus 18, that is equal to minus 18 only. 19 multiplied by minus 5, so minus 80. Now minus and minus are cancel out with each other. 2 multiplied by 3 is 6. 6 multiplied by 7 is plus 42 is your answer. So in same way you have to solve rest of the questions you have in question number 3. Now find the following products by suitable arrangement. So 15 minus multiplied by minus 12 multiplied by 4. So 15 multiplied by 4 is 60 and 60 multiplied by, so for example, minus 15, wait, 4. 15 4 is 60 minus 60 and multiply it minus 12. So 12 6 720 and minus minus are cancel out with each other. So this is your answer. So in same way you have to solve rest of the question you have in question number 4. Using properties of multiplication, evaluate the following products. 15 multiplied by minus 57 and 5 multiplied by minus 57. So in this case what can you do? Because both are in addition. So 15 plus 5 is 20. 20 multiplied by 57. 1140 is your answer. Negative. After, in same way you have, or in this question number A, we are using distributive property. So what you have to do, you have to apply your properties and you also have to write which property you are using. Now the temperature of an oven is maintained at 180 degrees Celsius. 180 degrees Celsius. Due to electricity failure, the temperature drops at the rate of 10 degrees Celsius every 5 minutes. What will be the temperature of the oven after half an hour? So every 5 minutes it's dropped down, okay, at the rate of 10 degrees. So means minus 10 degrees Celsius after every 5 minutes. So we have to write how many minutes? 1 hour 30 minutes. So in 1 hour 30 minutes we have total 90 minutes. So we have to check it out for 90 minutes. 90 divided by 5. 0 degree Celsius your answer. What you do here, you have 90 multiplied by 5 is 180. So if after 90 minutes you have 0 degree, because 180 degrees Celsius which is positive, and 5 multiplied by 90. 90 how I get? 1 hour, half an hour. Oven after half an hour. Wait, half an hour pucha na, or not 1 half an hour. So half an hour means 30 minutes. So for half an hour we have 30 minutes. So 30 divided by 5. So it means 6 intervals we have. 6 times your temperature drop down, okay, because every 5 minutes it's drop at the rate of 10 degrees Celsius. Now we have to multiply 6 by 10. It means 60 degrees Celsius is in minus. We have total temperature is 180 minus 60. Your answer is 120 degrees Celsius. Okay, this is your answer. Next we move forward to the division of integers. So division of integers, what we have to keep in our mind, in case of whole numbers, you have seen that division is an inverse process of multiplication. Every division fact is the consequences of multiplication fact. For example, 35 divided by 5 is equal to 7, or you can say 5 multiplied by 7 is equal to 35. So it means 27 minus 27 divided by 3 is minus 9. So 3 multiplied by minus 9 is minus 27. From the above examples, you can observe that quotient of two numbers with like signs is positive. It is equal to quotient of their absolute values. Quotient of two integers with unlike signs is negative. It is equal to the negative of quotient of absolute values of the given number. So 33 divided by minus 3, it is minus 11. If you have same sign, then you have positive sign. If you have differ, plus minus, opposite sign, then you have minus sign. So now we have same sign, minus and minus, so both are cancel out with each other and you will get your answer A. Now we deal with properties of division. If A and B are two integers, then A divided B is not necessarily an integers. For example, minus 5 divided by 4, it's not possible. So we can write it minus 5 by 4, which is not an integer. It means closure property is not applied under division. Now, if A is an integer, then A divided 1 is A divided is equal to A, and A divided by minus 1 is minus A. So, if for example, minus 6 divided by 1 is equal to minus 6 and minus 6 divided by minus 1 is positive 6. So, as in the case of whole numbers, division by 0 is meaningless. In the case of integers also, if A is any integers, then A divided by 0 is not defined. If A is any non-zero integers, then 0 divided by A is 0. For example, 0 divided by minus 3, it means whenever you multiply a number with 0 or whenever you divide a number with 0, it doesn't mean you have deal with your whole numbers, integers. End of the moment you get your answer 0 only. If A is any non-zero integers, then A divided by A is 1. So 9 divided by 9 is 1. Minus 14 divided by minus 14 is 1. So whenever we divide a number itself, so we'll get as a answer 1. Now A is any non-zero integers, then A divided by minus A is always minus. When you have opposite sign in division, so you will get the opposite sign only. So 2 divided by opposite sign only means negative sign only. 2 divided by minus 2 is minus 1. 2 divided by 2 is equal to minus 1. Now division of integers is neither commutative or nor positive. If you change the order or if you make different groups, you will get the different answers. Now minus 75 divided by 5 is minus 15 because we have opposite sign. So in same way you have to solve rest of the parts you have in question number 1. Now filling the blanks with appropriate integers. Minus 14, if I divided with minus 14, so I get 1. 0 divided by 19 is 0. And wait, minus 1 divided by minus 8 is equal to 8. So in same way you have to write the answer for rest of the parts you have, rest of the filling the blanks you have. Now for each of the following statements, state true or false. So integers are closed under division? No. If A is a non-zero integer, then 0 divided by A is 0. You can say that, but yes. Okay. So in same way you have to classify these statements among true or false. Now simplify 14 minus 16 divided by 5. So 14 minus plus 16, you 20 and 30 we have. So 30 divided by minus 5, you will get your answer minus 6. So in same way you have to solve rest of the parts you have in question number 4. And end of the moment, these are the things you have to keep in your mind, or this is the combined form which we learned in this chapter. So students, this is the end of your chapter. I hope so you understood it very well. Now I'm going to meet you in your next class. Till that, bye bye. Have a good day.